Welcome to the show Gold Squadron Gays. It's the podcast where two Star Wars loving gays talk about and review their favorite Star Wars content while also being gay as hell. I'm your host, Bradley Brower.
I'm your other host, Charles Rogers, and yay for recording right after the publishing news, I guess, for me, because I get to come on and tell Bradley about it.
Okay, yeah, tell me, what's the news?
Yeah, so they just did as of recording this, which, side note, I forgot we were recording today and was literally sitting at my kitchen table with a cup of coffee reading the publishing recap when I got the email notification to join the Zoom meeting. I was like, fuck. I had to run in here and be like, give me 13 minutes to watch the short really quick, and then I'll come back and we'll record an episode on it. But the publishing panel at New York Comic Con was today.
Oh.
And they announced two new novels, which are very interesting. Mm-hmm. One of them is going to be about Leia and Rey between Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker when Leia's training her. But it's going to be about how Rey fixed her lightsaber, from what I read of the plot description.
Okay, makes sense.
So I bring this up because I'm drawing Bradley's attention to it. It might be something worth reading.
Okay.
We'll see. I'll read it and I'll let you know if it's worth spending your one Audible credit a month on.
Right.
The other one, which was more interesting to me, is they announced that they're doing a new genre line of books, like genre in quotation marks line of books. Okay. So most of the Star Wars books that have come out ever have been like action adventure books.
Sure.
It's either action adventure stories or war stories. And that's pretty much the only type of two that it tells. But sometimes it gets weird. Okay. And sometimes it likes to branch out into a genre that it isn't normally associated with. And the two it does the most historically are romance and horror. They did a couple of horror novels back in Legends. You can listen to our episode on Death Troopers, where me and Colton talk about the novel Death Troopers. But they're going to do some books that are like not action adventure stories. They're going to try to branch out into different genre storytelling. The first one they're doing is a YA romance. Not my bag. We will not cover it on the show. But
that's weird. Okay.
I am keeping an eye on this particular line because something may come up that might interest us. We are doing something different. What are we doing that's different? Because we just finished a couple of weird little digressions. We did the Jedi Prince series to lead up to Legacy Expo. And then we did... I blanked on Tales of the Underworld.
I was going to say.
I forgot Tales of the... This is what happens when I haven't had my coffee and I was not in podcasting mode when I turned on this microphone. I blanked on the name of literally the thing we did last week.
Last week, right.
Last fucking week. What the fuck are we talking about?
Today we're going to be talking about Star Wars Visions Volume 2. And we're going to do the first episode today.
Yay. You want to tell us about the first episode? Well, I will say, too, we're going to be doing Vision Season 2 for a minute. Because nothing's really coming out. And now we actually have time to slow down and cross some things off our to-do list.
Exactly. Yeah, we've been holding on to Volume 2 for a while because, it's 9 episodes, so it's like a great, filler for our... I mean, I don't want to say filler because we do enjoy covering them, but I just mean filling up our schedule. Because it does take a long time. It's 9 weeks of content. So we always want to do Visions or something in between our big stuff. And right now, I think we're good for the rest of the year on big stuff.
We're good for the next 8 months.
Yeah, I don't think anything significant is coming out for a while. So we're good. We're going to do Visions Volume 2. And then, we're going to see where it goes from there. Just because I feel like I think once we get closer to the end of the year, we may start to get a little bit more things that'll happen, or on our to-do list. Because we have a lot of stuff coming out, especially next year. We have two or three big projects coming out. And we don't know the dates except for one of them. So
I will say too, set expectations. Going forward, the podcast is going to start going back and doing more stuff that was older because we don't have current content and we don't want to just turn into a punditry show. But we are never doing, at least up to this point, unless we super run out of stuff, unless we have literally nothing else we can ever talk about. We are not doing Clone Wars and we are not doing Rebels. Everybody does Clone Wars. everybody does Rebels. Go listen to Dark Side Divas. Go listen to First Steps of Star Wars podcast. Go listen to J Guys and Jedi. They've all covered Clone Wars and Rebels much better than I could. It would just be rehashing the same thing. I want to get weirder. So I'm going to
Right.
shout out those three podcasts specifically have both done the entirety of Clone Wars and the entirety of Rebels. We are looking at some different stuff to cover over the course of the next little bit. So we're starting here with Visions, season 2.
Love it.
Love it.
Well, let's do a little bit of backstory on Visions 2 because something's different this time around.
Yes. What changed?
So, unlike the previous volume, which was volume 1 or season 1, I don't know why they call it volume, but volume 1, volume 2 is how
It's
they're,
artistic.
yeah. Unlike the previous volume, which was purely Japanese anime, volume 2, the development team decided to branch out and they wanted to do, various animation studios in different parts of the world. So, not only is it Japan, they decided to go to India, the United Kingdom, Ireland, Spain, Chile, France, South Africa, South Korea, and the United States.
Okay.
So
we'll see.
Yeah, one
This
of the
is
things I'll say
definitely-
is I'll be like, "Hey, this is the country that this studio is from." That'll be part of my thing when we break down each episode. So
Yeah, and what the experience of watching Vision season 2 as a whole
Mhm.
is very different than watching Visions volume 1 because with volume 1 there was sort of an animation through line that you could follow,
Mhm.
that it was, vaguely close enough. Volume 2 is all over the place. And honestly, like
Yes,
my reaction to volume 2, the shorts that I have enjoyed are shorts I went back and watched afterwards. And I will say too that Sith, which is the short that we're talking about today, I enjoyed substantially more watching it in isolation for the podcast than I did marathoning all of them
agree.
like in one go. And I think I had a very similar opinion about volume 1. I actually probably think these should have been weekly releases. I really
think
don't
so.
think these should have been all dropped as one thing because you drop it in this sort of rampant consumerist streaming market that we have. The idea that you drop it, you binge it, you talk about it for 5 minutes and you forget about it really hurt both seasons of this, I think.
No, for sure. Because I'm looking at the original air date and I'm like, this came out May the 4th in 2023. Y'all, it's 2025. We're just now covering it. Like, that's how it just, they make it so forgettable when they do that. And we just forget about it. And we're just like, oh, that's right. This thing exists because you may or may not know this, people, but the third season is coming out at the end of the month. And so we're literally, kind of just now covering it. So season 3 will come out while we're doing this. And yes,
Yes.
we'll probably end up watching all of them all at once.
That is exactly what I will be doing.
Yeah.
Is I will be watching it. I will forget about it until I'm reminded of it. Go, oh my God, that was really good.
Yep.
And then wait and come back to it on the podcast. And I think that's these shorts definitely deserve better
I agree.
than to all be dumped on Disney Plus on May 4th too, which is like
That's hard.
a bunch of stuff comes out on May 4th. Like that's just my opinion. These should have been weekly releases.
Now, I will say I do like how Volume 3 is coming out in October randomly. It's October 29th. It'll be coming out. Now, to be fair, it's all coming out on the same day, unfortunately. However, at least it's in a time where there's not a lot of things happening. Like I couldn't tell you there's no new shows on Disney Plus right now. There's nothing happening. Like there's no big thing. Like the biggest thing Disney's doing right now is Tron Ares. So I don't think that really like conflicts that much because it'll have been out for a couple weeks by the time this comes out. So,
Yes, and if I were Disney, from what I've heard of Tron Ares, one person I know said that they really liked it, and everyone else would really like to move on from the movie. I haven't seen it personally. I can only report what people have told me. So I did just check when Percy Jackson Season 2 is coming out, and that is December 10th.
Right. So we're not even going to get anything new on Disney Plus until December, essentially.
And that's Percy Jackson is probably their biggest original thing on Disney Plus right now.
But
anyway,
that's
we
not
should
the
talk
show
about,
we're talking about.
That's not the show we're talking about. No.
So today we are talking about Star Wars Visions Season 2, episode titled Sith. A former Sith apprentice leading a peaceful but isolated life is confronted by the past when her old master tracks her down. A little bit of information about this episode. The director is Rodrigo Blas. And then the writer, he is also the writer for the show. the show, for this episode. And then I didn't have any extra information on him. So again, because these are other countries, I'm not necessarily going to know things that they do outside of the US, because we are stupid American people, so we don't know anything.
We're gonna do our best with
Right.
the creatives and actors.
So as far as I can tell, I don't know anything that he's done. But if you do, and you want to let us know, and you're like, oh my God, he directed this thing or whatever, that was so good, please let us know. And then, we'd love to shout it out. As of right now, all I know is that he did this. I didn't notice anything. Something called Troll Hunters. I've never
Oh,
really heard
apparently
of.
that's really good.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
I've heard of Troll Hunters. Apparently it's really good.
Okay, so he was a supervising director in that. So that's something that he helped direct or did. And then I'm still looking, and it looks like that's pretty much the only thing that stands out to me. And then it says he worked in the animation department for The Incredibles for Pixar, but it doesn't have him officially listed as anything, so I don't know what he did. But great. So that's the director. Now the studio is called El Giri Studios.
I think it's El Guieri.
Gieri? Okay.
I
El
think is how
Gieri
you're supposed to
Studios.
pronounce it.
El Gieri
Uh,
Studios.
there's going to be a lot of this over these episodes. We're going to try. We're
Right.
really going to try to parse them out, but we're very bad at pronouncing even English words correctly. So
Right.
we're going to try. I think it's supposed to be El Guieri.
El Gieri Studios. So that is the country is Spain, that this short is coming from. And then a little fun
Yes.
fact about this animation studio, it is their first project. So this was their very first thing that they did or put out. So I was like, oh, that's cool. Now, I guess I probably could have looked up, have they done anything since it has technically been 2 years since we this thing has come out. I think I'll do better on the next one. But
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
pulling it up.
googling. I'm googling just to see
Yeah,
what else that they've done.
it
They
looks
have
like
done
that's
some
the
other.
biggest.
That's the biggest.
Yeah, that we would know anyway.
I'm seeing on their Instagram
Hmm.
they've got at least one other project that's come out since then. I did look up what I think it's actually Giri is how it's supposed to be pronounced according to the Wikipedia word for
Oh, okay.
Giri, which apparently is a colloquial Spanish word often used in Spain to refer to uncouth foreign tourists. However, it can also be applied to people from other foreign countries. It is
Interesting.
not considered a slur by Spanish speakers if used as a lighthearted tease.
Interesting.
So,
Huh. Okay.
thank you, Google
Yeah.
and Wikipedia, for providing that info. What do you have about the voice cast? Because
Yes. So the English voice cast, I have two people. I have Ursula Corbero as Lola, and then she's best known for the show Money Heist on Netflix. I feel like a lot of people
yes,
know that, so that's why I wanted to throw
if
that
you
one in
know
there.
a Spanish language, if you know a Spanish TV show, but not Spanish language, if you know a Spanish TV show
Hmm.
from Spain specifically, it's probably Money Heist.
Money Heist, right?
That one's a big
Hmm.
deal for them. They stole two of the actors from Elite. That's why
That's why you know
that's why I
it.
know Money Heist. Well, because the best friend from season one and the brother from season one both fucking disappear. It's because both
Right.
of those people were in Money Heist
They were in
and they
Money
would
Heist.
rather go
Mhm.
do Money Heist
Gotcha.
than they would actually be in Elite.
And then the other actor is Luis Tosar. He's the Sith Master, and he just is known for Spanish film and television. We wouldn't know anything that he's been in. So, um,
Uh, he's been in Miami Vice. That's about the only thing I
oh,
recognize
see, I wouldn't
him
even.
from.
That's like one thing I see. I don't watch those shows. So, but
Alrighty. I was looking at IMDb a little bit,
mhm.
and I did see something I didn't realize. But as a history nerd, it made me sit up and go, "Oh wow, I love this a lot." Quoting from IMDb here, quote, "The lightsaber designs are heavily influenced by various Spanish sword designs. For instance,
Yes,
one is made to look like a Spanish rapier."
That's my only
End
fact for the
quotes.
thing. So there you go.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's that was really clever. I thought the use of the great sword, like the Sith using the
Hmm.
great sword, was really cool, but I didn't realize they were all supposed to be
Like Spanish
Spanish sword
influence. Yeah.
designs. That's
No, I
really
didn't
neat.
either.
I
I
like that
liked
a
it a lot.
lot.
So I guess well, first let's talk about the animation too, because like I also want to talk about like the styling, because like every week we are gonna have to talk about like the difference because they all are so different. This one in particular was more of like a, there were moments that were supposed to be, I guess, not like thought, but like I get they use like very like paint splatter or like watercolor-esque like kind of.
Paint is like a metaphor for the Force, kind of.
Right, because you kind of like see it sometimes, but sometimes it's real and sometimes it's not like there or something like that. I think that's like it was something like that where like because she uses like black a lot, and the black was supposed to be like the darkness versus the color, which was the light, which is the there was all these metaphors that were going on when I was
Yeah,
watching
and then
this
she's
one.
got a balance between the
Right.
darkness and the light,
Hmm.
and she gets the lightsaber at the end, and then she paints the lightsaber at the end, and it's supposed to be. But also, like, there's times where it shifts to like just a regular 3D animation style, but then it shifts back to having some paint stuff going on in it. But then the lightsabers are paint regardless.
Yeah,
Like,
it was
those are
really cool.
always paint. I thought it was a lot of very interesting ideas,
Hmm.
and I loved the creativity on display here. Visually, to watch it's a little confusing. I didn't necessarily love the execution of it, but I did think it was really clever, like conceptually. Also, something was a little off about the character models. I can't quite put my finger on it. Something with the textures that are used on them, like they sort of shine, like the 3D
Yeah,
models kind of shine, and that put me off a little bit,
yeah, I guess it
especially
was
when
just
she's
supposed to be like very artistic looking, like sketch quality like it's not supposed to, I guess the idea was that it's very imperfect or like that it was like they drew it or something and then they just
well, the
added
world
stuff to it.
around her, the world around the 3D models I really really liked.
Yeah.
Like I thought the integration of the 3D and the sort of more artistic paint and sketch style and like representing her, sanctuary in the early minutes of the episode, and then we get back into it, in the duel in the end where it kind of turns out that like it always looked like a Cloud City hallway, but because it was a representation of her sanctuary, it looked like weird and artistic. I
Yeah.
liked all that a lot. It's just with the actual 3D models that were
Okay.
used, something felt off to me about them. They didn't
Mm.
quite do something with them right, and I'm wondering if it was the lighting or what it was
Hmm.
that they chose to do for the models. But I liked the creativity on display. I thought it was really, really, really like inventive. It almost kind of had, and I don't mean this as an insult. I really don't. I know there's people that are going to jump down my throat for this phrasing. It kind of reminds me of the vibe I get from watching a really good student film,
Okay.
to where I'm like, you have a lot of really creative and innovative ideas, and you tried to cram a few too many of them in here, and it got a little muddled for me. But that's okay because it's so creative that I'm loving it.
Yeah, I mean, this was their first, attempt at doing anything. So I
As a
see
studio,
that.
yeah, like it's
Yeah.
not this guy's first short film ever,
No, but this is their
but
first
yeah, as a
product that they've
studio,
put
yes.
out. So, I mean, it definitely has that quality to it. I agree with you. I like it. I think it had a lot of ideas. I think they wanted to do the paint stuff. They wanted to do the Sith stuff. They wanted to do like there's a lot. It is. It's you have like this robot guy, and then you have this other guy that are with the Sith guy. Like there was a lot. There was the her vehicle that she rides in. There was, like she has a mechanical arm. There's the double-bladed lightsaber. There's so many ideas in this, like which are fine because like they all seem Star Warsy enough to where I'm like, that's like General Grievous's thing. That's like, a mechanical arm that's very Star Wars, like a double-bladed lightsaber that's not unusual. Now, the two different color double-bladed lightsaber is unusual. I will give them that. That was very interesting and cool. I think, yeah, there's a lot going on. It's visually cool, but there is a
Yeah,
lot going on.
there's a lot going on, and I also found that like the metaphors that they were going with were very very clear, but also I felt like maybe could have been dwelled upon more. Like I see the base idea of we're using art as a metaphor for the Force, which is also why I loved the paint stuff. I thought the
Hmm.
entire visual motif of having the paints it like in this and have it as a metaphor for the Force and have just the colors and the paint swirls and things that she does was a really cool visual way to represent the Force that we've honestly never seen. But the metaphor also kind of gets buried a little bit. It comes back towards the end. Like it's very strong in the beginning, and then it kind of dips in the middle because we're actually trying to establish some plot and world building. And then the metaphor comes back at the end for her to find
Right.
the balance. Because there's a scene that I just glossed over the first time I watched this that is actually really important when she talks about struggling with the painting because she's trying to keep the darkness out of it.
Right.
Like she's trying to remove the shadows. And of course,
Hmm.
you can do that in art, but art visually is more interesting when you are incorporating shadows and darkness into it as opposed to just saying, brightness all the time. And if you look at the art that she's actually drawing, like she sketched out on the wall, it's the two eyes from her vision. And
Right.
she winds up eliminating them because she's trying to keep them out, but they're also in the painting. It's a very quick scene that like I said, kind of got lost for me the first time I watched it. But this time I was like, oh, I understand now the ending, what they're going with. She has to find balance, and the whole thing is about finding balance in the force.
Hmm.
This makes sense to me now. My boyfriend really did not like this one.
Really? Mm.
This is actually the one to humanize myself a little bit and talk about my life. This is like the one that we majorly disagreed on.
Really?
Because most of the other ones, if he didn't like it, I also didn't like it. And if he really liked it, I also really liked it. This is the one where we the most strongly disagreed on it because he did not like this one at all
Oh, wow.
visually. And I really liked it visually. But yeah, that's it's fun to live in my house and have conversations about media. I highly recommend not being between me and my boyfriend when we're having a conversation on media we disagree on.
No,
There's
because
a reason our
yeah.
relationship has lasted as long as it has.
I also think that this season is very controversial in the fact that there's a lot that are like, oh, I didn't like that animation or I did like that animation. I feel like this one is 50-50 for me. Like, I feel like every week we're going to be like, nah, or yeah, I like that. Like, it's one or the other. I don't think it's like a in between. Like, it's very much like,
I would agree with that
you know,
wholeheartedly. And
yeah.
the thing too is that with volume 1, like I mentioned at the top of the episode, there is sort of this unity between them. That's a
Hmm.
vague unity, but there is a unity between them. And this one, because they've chosen to squash all of these together on the production, on the release side of things, rather, because they've chosen to squash all these together,
Right.
they do get unfairly compared to each other, I think.
Right. And you really can't
It's
like,
a
yeah.
Rings of Power House of the Dragon season 1's situation
Hmm.
where because we're in proximity to another piece of media and there is some tangential connection, we are going to compare the two of them. And I don't think it's really fair to compare any of the volume 2 short to each other or even to the shorts from volume 1.
No, they're so different. They're so like now, if you had told me like, okay, here's a season where Spanish animation studios are doing it, then yes, I would compare them. That's why season one's more comparable because it's all Japanese animation. Like it's like very much like, okay, this is a different style of Japanese, different animation. Like you can compare and contrast those. This is just, they're just all so different. Like we have stop motion, we have just regular animation, we have 2D animation, we have 3D animation. Like there's so many different things that are happening on this season that like it's gonna be really hard because there's no way you can compare the stop motion animation stuff to this. Like it doesn't compare.
No,
It's not the
there's
same
such
medium
different
basically.
ballparks.
Yeah,
Yeah, and also like there's going to be like cultural elements to these particular shorts, like particularly when we get
exactly.
to the one from Ireland.
Hmm.
Oh boy, I have thoughts. But also the one from Chile is
Yeah.
really rooted in that specific culture, and I don't think you can draw any sort of comparison, between different shorts that are drawing from different inspirations. So I think the challenge for us going forward for the season is going to be taking each one in isolation, which I do like that we choose to go through these
Hmm.
1 week at a time because it lets us take them in isolation that way.
Right.
I don't think Sith, like to answer the question that's sort of being asked overall in this section, I don't think you could do this story outside of animation. I think
Mm.
this is a piece of animation, capital ATM.
Hmm.
Like this exists in the medium of animation specifically. You could not tell this story otherwise. because the visuals and the movement of the visuals is so important to understanding the story and the metaphor here. You could do it as static images. I don't think it would come across in
No,
nearly the same way.
it wouldn't. That kind of go now that actually does nicely go into how you would like to see this story continue in another medium and or the same medium.
I've already answered that. I don't think it should. I think it should stand completely alone. But what about you, Bradley?
I think I could see it as its own thing. It gives like not I don't want to say that it can be its own show or like, you know, I don't think it could be its own show in this style. You would have to change the styling of it. Like the the base models, like the character models are fine. Like I think that would work. The whole like sketchy background and like the paint aesthetic and stuff like that, you'd have to completely remove if you wanted to make this a true show. I think it's too artistic, if that makes sense. Like it's a great short. I don't think it works. It would be like long form, like a 20-minute, episode of a show week after week. I just don't think it would just be too much and it would be too stylistic. I think that you would have to settle on like something like I think towards the middle of the episode, correct me if I'm wrong, they kind of abandon that. Like,
Yes.
and it's kind of more like this is what it looks like actual like what's actually happening kind of thing versus like what's in her head or like what's artistically being shown. I
Yeah,
think
because
that show makes more sense. Yeah,
we do see the bunker like transform during the final duel
right.
from the Cloud City hallway into the
Right.
Force
And
vision, and that's supposed to clue us in that like everything we saw in the original, like when she's walking through that lily pad
yeah. It's just
room,
kind of
was
like a
all like a representation.
exactly. So I think like if you were to do just like the standard show, like where they're the three guys come in and they're like fighting her out on the planet, in like the desert planet or wherever they are, that show kind of makes more sense. Like I could see that it gives more like that vibe could work probably, I think, if you just stick to that and it's not ethereal, it's not artistic-y. Like, I mean, it's still all artistic, but I think that like it's less like I need something more like this is actually what I'm seeing is the environment she's actually in. I don't want necessarily that sketchy kind of look if we're doing a whole plot line. So I think it could work. I like the idea of this Sith apprentice on the run from her old master and XYZ they're hunting her down kind of thing. Like that's a cool idea. I like the Sith guy. I think he looks cool. I think the character design is fun. So if they did something like that, I would like it. But then my problem with that is then I'm telling you to strip away what makes the thing artistic to make it more commercial for like the public. And I don't think you should do that. So I as that would be my idea for taking it farther. However, I don't think it should be taken farther. I think it's fine as is. Now, if they want to take these characters and like canonize them in some kind of way, that's another conversation for another day. I think they're cool designs, and I would love to see some of these elements, either this type of alien that the Sith Master is, or the robot that she has, or maybe the two bounty hunter guys or robots or whatever they are that are trying to hunt her down. Like, if you want to take some of those elements and incorporate them into Star Wars somewhere else, I think that would be really cool. So,
And here is where I badly want to talk about To Be Hero X, but I won't. I'll just say if you want to see what some of this artistic animation in the context of a larger series might look like, please watch the entire first season of To Be Hero X. It is all out. Do not Google what this show is about. Do not Google any plot. Definitely do not look up any of the animation scenes ahead of time. Just trust me. If you're a fan of animation, you needed to have been watching that show. But it also does some really interesting things with the blending animation in the context of being an actual like 24 episode season of something that is it's something that I recommend. There's where I go plug a show that I really liked from the last season. But also like, yes, it does have a point here. If you're interested in seeing what that might look like, that's the show. That's the show you want. You can join me in misery waiting for season 2.
so you want to know what country we're going to next week?
I would love to know. This was Spain, by the way.
Yes,
I think we mentioned it a couple
we
of times
did.
at the top, but this was
So
Spain.
we started
What
in
country
Spain.
and where are we going?
And we are going to Ireland next week.
Yes, I have a significant amount of Irish heritage, which I do joke accounts for my self-loathing.
Hmm.
But I was very, very interested in this particular short, because I do identify more strongly with the Irish branch of my family.
All right. Well, next week we're going to cover Screecher's Reach.
Screecher's Reach, definitely an episode that I have a lot to contemplate about. It's really fucking good. It's one of those really fucking good ones. Pluggables. Bradley works on a bunch of reality TV. We always try to support him in those efforts because he is a gig worker and we want to see him keep getting hired back for more seasons. So if you like reality TV, you can watch shows as Married to Medicine, Temptation Island, The Circle on Netflix, Queen's Court, King's Court. Do you have any others coming out
Yeah, so I
that are
actually have
announced?
this one's announced. I don't have a date yet, so I can't tell you when it's going to come out. I just saw something that said coming soon, which is weird. So Married to Medicine season 12 is coming soon. So they are teasing it. They just don't have a date for it yet, which is weird. So I it's already October, so I don't know when it's going to come out, but they said soon. So shit, maybe for Christmas they were getting Married to Medicine.
Looking forward to the reality show where Bradley and I will reveal our behind the scenes trying to schedule this podcast around him shooting these shows.
There you go.
So definitely, if you like reality television, go check that out. I am also on a Star Wars TTRPG podcast called For Light and Dice. That is an actual play TTRPG set in the High Republic era. We are about to wrap up our second season of the show. The plot is plotting. It's very exciting. I also write queer books. You can find them on Amazon, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, and request them through your library digitally. Those are called Beach House Studios. The fourth book is an announcement is coming soon. We're waiting on one more thing to announce the release date for that. And I have picked the next serial that I'm doing afterwards. So keep your eye on socials for that. I'm not sure when it's going to come out. It may have already come out because we are taking a week off between the recording of this episode and the next episode. But I was a guest on a show called the Dragon Age Lorecast, where I did an entire episode defending my boy Carver Hawk from criticism because all of you are too mean to him, and I need to explain to you why you're wrong in detail. So if that made you unreasonably angry, go check out my episode on the Dragon Age Lorecast. It's either about to come out or will be out soon. And then find my social media and yell at me, or join their Discord and yell at me for my extremely correct opinion.
Great.
Alrighty. I feel like we had extra pluggables this week, Bradley.
Always.
So we always do. We're both very busy people. So I guess run our socials so we can get back to that. Thank you for listening to Gold Squadron Gaze. Did Charles fuck something up? Email us at goldsquadrongaze@gmail.com and let us know. You can follow us on BlueSky, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok at Gold Squadron Gaze. Subscribe to us on YouTube at Gold Squadron Gaze, where we post full episodes of this podcast. If you like the podcast, you can also rate us and review us on your favorite podcast app of choice. Please join us next week and every week for another episode of Gold Squadron Gaze.
Spoiler alert, it's about Chewbacca.
Spoiler alert, Chewbacca gets a moon dropped on him.
Chewbacca. No,
I mean,
we're gonna see how he met his wife, obviously.
actually, I would read a Wookiee romance novel.
A Wookiee romance novel. Because we got to bring her back, into the fold. I feel like we always forget that she exists, and she's definitely real. And
She's real. She's canon.
She's
Fucking
canon.
Lumpy is in
She has a
the
kid.
Aftermath books.
Yeah, we need more Lumpy. So I need some.